So I'd like to take a minute here and just say one thing. If you ever stop to consider that maybe no changes in a PTR build is actually a good thing, I've been reading a lot of comments lately on like MMO Champion and on Discord and on Wowhead comments and various other places that if there's no demo changes or there's no changes for a particular spec that it's quote-unquote shameful and insulting, which is just not the case. If you actually take a step back and think about it logically, if there's no change happening for a spec, wouldn't you think that that means that the spec or the class is actually well balanced and actually doesn't need changes to be competitive or, to remain relevant? For example, with Destruction, they weren't happy with the design of how Destruction played, or how they actually developed the spec for Legion. So what did they do? They revamped it back to a system that is similar to what worked very well for Destruction, both in single target and in multi-target. With Affliction, for example, they heard the outcry about Soul Effigy, and how no one actually liked playing it. It was very clunky. It took away from F's ability to actually be an effective multi-daughter. So what did they do? They removed it and replaced it with something different that actually makes sense to the spec and allows them the ability to give multi-dotting actually back to Affliction. So effectively, does the fact that there's no changes to a spec actually matter? I would hypothesize and say that no, it doesn't. I would say that that speaks a lot to the class balancing team and to the devs of a given spec or a given class. The fact that there's no changes to Demonology, really, aside from them nerfing the Infernal Furnace Relic, they nerfed that, but effectively buffed our damage by giving us the change to Hand of Gul'dan, right? So, really, is there any actual change that matters? I would say no. Instead of everyone freaking out about there not being any demo changes or like speculating on what possible changes could happen for Demonology, just sit back, relax. Demonology is still in a very great position for the upcoming patch. We've actually, so far, been net gain, although at minor, single target. In AoE, the gain for Hand of Gul'dan is actually quite significant. So in reality, we have been buffed, we haven't been nerfed. Just because there's no changes doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Look on the brighter side. The grass is always greener on the other side. In this case, you don't know yet. There's still lots of iteration to come on PTR. Stop this nonsense. Please. I beg of you.